Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today I am joined by, drumroll please, Gurin. I am so sorry, but he is one of the developers from Forefront, and today we're going to be doing a discussion interview about the game. So, my friend, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi everybody, my name is Jeroen. You got that pretty good actually. So yeah, I'm the creative director at Triangle Factory, which means that I look at the quality of the game and make all the fun decisions of what makes it into the game and how it should feel. And yeah, I always say that I do pretty much everything.
So today's gonna be a great conversation about the game that recently launched called Forefront VR. It's available on PC VR as well as Quest, and it has crossplay. It is super fun. It is basically the battlefield of VR. For me, playing it, it feels like Bad Company 2 or the spiritual successor, Bad Company 3, that we'll never get, but we finally have here. So, my friend, what would you say is the thing that made you guys want to create Forefront? Was it the lack of its existence, or was it just like, you know what? Let's just do it.
Pretty much that. After Breachers, we were thinking, what's a VR game that we still want to make? Since our philosophy has always been, we want to bring our childhood shooters to VR and do it very well. So we did Hyperdash, which was like Quake, Unreal Tournament in VR. Then Breachers, which is like Siege and Counter-Strike. And yeah, we were thinking at that moment after Breachers, what can we do? What's possible? And yeah, the team was thinking about it, and we did not have a Battlefield type of game yet, and it seemed a bit crazy to think in that direction, but yeah, the day is here, and we pulled it off, and I'm pretty happy that we decided to do it because yeah, we love playing the game. It's not even finished, but
Yeah, a special note is to say that this game is technically in early access, which for an early access game, it feels really good. Just like you said, you wanted to create the battlefield of VR, and then the current VR landscape, charging for a VR game versus releasing a free monkey style game is kind of like goes against the grain. So to see this game be successful and cost something up front without having to charge people on the back end and worry about adding new content and stuff, I'm so happy to see that, because I don't know, for the last year or so, I was noticing just a complete downtrend in where a developer, they would put their heart and soul into a game, and then everyone's like, is it free? And if it's not free, then you're sinking. So what were your guys' thoughts around that? Like, it's like, oh my gosh, we're releasing a shooter in a saturated market. We're releasing a not free new IP. Like, what was the thought process around there?
yeah, I mean it's a big topic right now, and everybody sees what's happening to VR, and indeed, a premium game like this is definitely under pressure. And I think if you keep making the things that people want to come back to VR for, hopefully that goes well. All I can say right now is that we're yeah, happy with the response of the game and what's it doing, and seeing that many players in the game, even at the state of early access. Um, it's nice to see us amongst the free-to-play games that are doing very well. Yeah, it's a different market from a few years ago since we launched Breachers, and we'll yeah.
Well, I'm happy for you guys. I've been streaming this game and making videos, and I'm seeing new people watch those videos, and new people watch those streams, and I get it all the time. What game is this? What game is this? And it's cool to see. Of course, we could do another video on like a super popular game, and you'll get more views. But when you start off with something new, not a lot of people know about it. But the cool thing is, every single time there's a video of this one or a stream, it's like I'm always getting asked, "What game is this?" And it's never like, "Oh, never mind." They're always like, "This game looks awesome. What game is it?" And I'm like, "Dude, it's Forefront. Get it on PC. Get it on Quest, and just go play it." I think it was for its launch week. It was for US it was $20 and it was on sale for $17.99. And I'm just telling people, get it. You won't regret it. You won't regret it. That
Thank you for that.
yeah,
Because
for
yeah,
sure. I mean that is so it's I'm so happy to see that because as a VR dude and a content creator for a while, I've seen games come and go, and I've seen the hype cycle of a game. It's like it's going to be good, and then no one. It's a week later, a month later, and no one talks about it. This game has legs, even for early access. It's not just like, hey, here's 4 maps, play them, choose your favorite gun. There's progression, there's weapon attachments to get. Of course, there's always there's an ongoing scoreboard, but correct me if I'm wrong. It's not currently tracking players' stats, right? You don't see like your kill to death ratio or win loss ratio, right?
no, not yet.
Okay,
No.
so that's not implemented as of yet, but in the current state where you have the progression for the player for the early access, it feels good. And there's definitely a skill ceiling there, which we'll talk about in just a sec for the player classes and weapon attachments. But it's cool to see someone's getting like a gun and they're like, I really want to get this scope. So they play with that class and with that gun for a while until they get it. So it's cool that the player progression is prevalent and there because that's what this game is going to need its legs to stand on. Because right now, as of launch, there are 4 maps, right? There's 2 rush maps and 2 conquest maps.
Exactly. We have new ones in the works, of course, and some variations of the existing maps that are going to be pretty cool. But yeah, that's all coming later.
Well, let's get there if we can. Let's first talk about the class systems. So we have assault, recon, engineer, and medic, right? So it's very reminiscent of old school Battlefield back in the day, which I love. By the way, just so you know, I love that this game feels like it's playing like Bad Company. It's just so fun for me. It's there's so many slop shooters out there where like the players run in and they're sliding on their face and they're shooting guns out of like every orifice that they have. So I like that this feels more grounded but still arcadey and fun where anyone can pick it up and have a good time. It's feeling like you're playing like a sandbox with your character. So that being said, is with these classes, I think the thing that sticks out the most, and I see it on your guys' roadmap as the first thing under improvements, it's recon class improvements. Now, without me saying anything yet, what does that mean? What does recon class improvements mean?
My main class is sniper as well, and I know that it's not perfect right now. It's the first time that we are implementing snipers in one of our games, so we have things to learn there. But we know what we want to do, and yeah, sure, I can talk about it. The problem right now is that the scopes are not big enough. Like the lens in there could use some improvement. And when you tilt your gun a bit, that it transitions to black. So we need to make that shader a bit more forgiving so that you see more in your scope. Besides that, we want to look into a hold your breath mechanic. For example, if you hold your left trigger, you would hold your breath while you're aiming down your sight, and it would stabilize your gun. And ideally, you can just input in settings with a slider how much you want that stabilization to be. Another idea that's on the roadmap is a what you call it, basically put down your gun and put it open on the ground, like in front of an LMG.
Okay, so
Can
like
you
like
help?
stabilizing the weapon.
Yeah, but like you can plant it down on like a sandbag, and that basically fixes the front of the gun uh, on where you put it down. So that would be super nice to actually have some very stable sniping. And there are some other small tweaks that we want to do, maybe a little bit more forgiving hitboxes. We'll tweak damage numbers on each gun. There's a specific sniper update in the works that will maybe add a new sniper rifle as well. So
Okay. Well, what like for me? So I play all classes. I love the recon class as well. Now, full disclosure, I use the Valve Index that has 2 base stations for tracking. So because of that, My device doesn't use what's known as inside-out tracking. The lighthouses are tracking exactly where my hands are at all time. So for aiming a sniper rifle through a scope, I don't lose tracking when the controllers are behind each other and up to my face. So for me, the sniping, for the most part, feels pretty decent as far as accuracy. However, most players are going to be using not that. They're going to be using a Quest device or a Quest adjacent, be it a Pico or whatever it's going to be, which does use inside-out tracking, which will make sniping very difficult in almost all games for all players. So hearing something like hold your breath mechanic, I think is going to help people out in that regards. The other thing that you mentioned was the weapon underperforming. The thing I found as the biggest glaring standout was when I unlocked the behemoth. And I'm sure you hear this all the time. Everyone wants that thing to be a one-shot kill. Now, it's going to be hard to balance anything that's a one-shot kill in a game, because what will end up happening is a player will unlock that, then they'll put a red dot scope on it and just use it as a shotgun, which is against what the Recon class realistically should be. But if we look at another Battlefield game like Battlefield 1, the snipers had like a sweet spot mechanic. So it would be cool to see at least the Behemoth 50 caliber have a somewhat one-shot kill within like a certain fall-off radius of like an upper chest to obviously head one. Because when you use the first sniper, you're like, okay, this is pretty good. And then you grind and you get the Behemoth 50 caliber sniper, and it's doing the same damage as the original one. You're like, what? But why? Why? You know? So it was, that part was a little bit of a letdown for that one. However, the Recon class will always remain the biggest skill check in the game outside of certain vehicles, just because of the style of a Recon and the job of a Recon. So not everyone is going to be that sniper, even though everyone wants to be a sniper. And I think that's okay. I'm just going to put that out there. I think it's okay that people are missing headshots and they're not getting one-shot kills, because not everyone's going to be able to do it. And the ones that can do it will rise to the top and be those best Recon players. And I think there's some balance there, and that's why you guys let the Recon unlock the Condor a little bit early, or earlier than most classes, is, you know, because a Recon player is not supposed to be a jack of all trades. What I did want to add, though, is your Recon class is the only class that cannot gain XP from their gadgets from their team. Why? Why can't they get XP for people spawning on the spawn beacon?
The simple answer is that we couldn't ship it in time for the first release. I just came out of a meeting before doing this where we discussed some additional XP rewards, also for sniper specific, like indeed spawn beacon, but we also need squad stuff, like if you spawn on your friend, a headshot bonus.
Yes, for sure.
So yeah, that's all.
Headshot bonus, also distance kill. You know, it's like X 1.2 multiplier. That'd be cool. Also, their line launcher. It's, for me, it seems like it's working as intended. There's some times where it's not as forgiving as it needs to be, where I'm like, I know I've hit this shot before. But I want to ask you something that probably won't work, but I just want to know: is it possible to line launch, or get it working to line launch onto vehicles like helicopters and stuff in the air? How funny would that be to see a Just Cause style Recon with a Condor in hand shoot their line launcher at your helicopter and is zipping towards you? Of course, within a reasonable distance. They can't be like way up there. But those little bird pilots that think they're, you know, they're hot and they're flying low, that would be kind of sick. Obviously, you wouldn't be able to take over the vehicle, but it would be funny to line launch yourself up there enough that you're in the air and then you can kind of like shoot at them. Is that possible?
Like a grappling hook, you mean?
Yeah. So if the line launcher, so if I fire the line launcher at like a building, right, it attaches. But let's say I fire it at a vehicle and I hold down the trigger. Let's say it doesn't attach, but it attaches to that vehicle and just immediately pulls the Recon towards it. That would be so. You know how many like TikTok brain rot clips you would get of that, and people would be like, "What game is this, man? You're people flying in the air? This is crazy."
Yeah. No, I mean, you're right. That's the kind of stuff that we are looking into to make the game even more fun, and there are some wild ideas on the table. This is a wild idea, because you know, like from a design perspective, like, yeah, would it be fun? Yeah, but what happens if you so you do it right? You aim at the helicopter and you
Mhm.
bring yourself close to it. Do you want to hang off the bottom, or do you want to sit next to the pilot suddenly, or
No,
you know?
it would be the best way I could see it working from a game design perspective that wouldn't just break everything is it's working like a grappling hook that's a fire and forget. So the player would shoot while and they would hold said trigger that they fire. Let's say they fire from their left hand. They're holding it and it pulls them. And by the time it gets to like where they would be able to pull off, they don't attach to the helicopter anymore. It shoots them up in the air almost like they're redeploying from a parachute. But it gets them
Yeah, yeah.
in line where they're now able to shoot their pistol or gun quickly to get a headshot or a body shot on the people inside there. Like seeing that would be crazy cool because then you get people jumping out of other helicopters and trying to do like a Renazook style thing, and you would just give more nuance to air combat past the point of like someone being 10 miles away using the stupid repair tool, which I'm so glad you nerfed, by the way, but using the repair tool in the helicopter.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
yeah,
see,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, so this is awesome. Like ideas like this, and I like the idea. I'm gonna put it in front of the team. Like we are having a crazy ideas meeting lined up. So there will be similar stuff that will be added eventually. Yeah, I can see this happening. It would make sense. It would make the gadgets
I'm
more
excited to hear
interesting as
about
well.
that
Yeah.
crazy idea meeting, whatever you guys come up with, just in general, because there's 4 classes, so it would be cool to see what Recon and
Yeah,
anyone else can do. Because I also saw that's not in the current build is you have soldier perks.
those are still being discussed, but it would be like small boosts and more stuff to unlock. Because we have a basic form of progression right now, but it's not enough.
Yeah,
How do you feel about the progression right now, actually? Because we hear that the beginner levels take too long, and we've reduced the first 3 levels of the engineer, so you unlock the talent faster. Do you have any frustrations there, or
I
do you feel
think
like you're unlocking enough at a good
yeah.
rate?
So it's hard for me to speak for all. So I'll speak from my own experience. I know it's not for all players, so don't take that too
Mhm.
seriously. But when I first started, and the little bird was a little overtuned, they were dominating people because no one had the talent. And even once they had the talent, the rate at which the helicopter could be repaired was insane. So no one was killing these things past the point of them making a mistake or someone skill checking them with the Abrams shooting them down from the sky. So from a new player perspective, if this was like, hey, what is this game? I'm going to go play it right now. There might be some pain points as far as unlocking things because no gun starts with a scope. Everything's iron sights, and the player doesn't know to like, hey man, start off and rush first, get 5 kills, and you'll get a red dot, and you can move on from there. Some people just go right into conquest and they're getting destroyed from across the map or beamed by other guns, and they don't know what's going on because they've never played a game like this, and they're just going, hey. So I don't know, maybe starting people off. And there could be a basic training thing that, or just giving people their first red dot scope or something like something there, because your player's first 2 hours with your game is the most important because that's when they can refund it, right? So
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, like if they're in the lobby, I'm there, or you have other people that are VR veterans, and they go up against us that we already have better guns, but we also have a higher. We're just gonna say we have a higher skill than them. They're not gonna be able to beat us, right? Like they're just not gonna be able to beat us. So, and if they feel they're not able to beat us because their weapons are underperforming, they're gonna be like, well, this game, I'm frustrated. So if they can just be like, hey man, this is your starter gun. Here's your M4A1 that has like this scope on it. Because I'm trying to think if there is a Battlefield game in PvP where you start off iron sights. I feel like almost everyone had like a very basic scope. Like I can't remember off the top of my head. It's possible that they're iron sights, but I think for this one, because it's VR, there's going to be a lot more people that are going to be worse at the game before they're better. That's just how VR is.
Yeah.
So maybe giving them a little bit of like, here you go type situation. Like your class gets this thing. Now go unlock the 4x scope. Go unlock the 2x scope. Then go like, okay, I could have. You want your player to think I could have made that shot if I had my 4x scope. What's that? Only 20 more kills until I get that. I can do that. Versus I'm never going to get a kill because I can't see. That's like that line you want to blur for that one.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and those are the things that we fine tune through early access, and we really do listen to these kinds of feedback. So when the game reaches completion, that's people get a good experience. It's not fun to indeed be outgunned and outclassed by somebody that put in way more hours than you, and that should be balanced.
Well, the thing is, that's going to happen no matter what. Like because of the progression system, someone that unlocks like the AK versus someone that's using the SCAR or something, like they're going to be outclassed. Like your engineer in long distance or medium distance is going to be outclassed by the assault. That's just a game of rock paper scissors. But you don't want them to constantly feel like that in every single firefight because they can't see or something. That's the only thing I'm talking about, because there's going to be guns that are going to be better. There's going to be players that will be better than you. But you don't want the player themselves to feel like every single gun that they're using isn't it. That's the line to toe, because you ask yourselves as developers, like, is it the player's skill that's making them not as good as this game, or is it that we're not enabling the players to get more skillful so that they can be better at this game? Because I've seen that happen so many times with not just VR games in general, where it's a good game, it's a great concept, but the current community dominates new players out of existence, and then the game will slowly die because new players are like, well, I can't. The little bird's going 103 and 2, and I can't counter him, so they fall off. So that's the thing to question is that. But we don't have to talk about that to exhaustion. What I did want to talk about specifically is my first love, the engineer class. So that man, he gets a drill. Now hear me out. I think you should. I'm laughing, but
is it another crazy idea that's coming?
It's not that crazy an idea. It's in Battlefield 3. It is an achievement or trophy. Is that drill? It should be able to do damage to players, not friendlies, obviously. But if I sneak behind someone and turn the drill on the back of their head within like 1 to 2 seconds, I want to get a kill from that one. Because in Battlefield 3, you could take the drill and you hit someone with it, and you got an achievement called the Dentist, and that would be great. And I think getting enough kills with that one, you should unlock a skin, or hear me out, a scope for it. Now, why would you need a scope for a drill? You wouldn't need a scope for the drill. You wouldn't need it. But it would be so funny to see, like, hey, that man is dedication. He unlocked the scope for the drill because he got 20 melee kills with the drill by turning it on. That stuff. Those type of things is what I want to see.
Well, yeah, with a laser sight, of course. So
the lasers, dude. Honestly, if you can kit out the drill and it has no purpose, and there's like, why does this have a laser sight? It's like, because it does have a laser sight. Because I drilled 20 people. That stuff. So, but outside of the meme is, I remember, Battlefield games, the engineer can always do damage, be it with their blowtorch or repair tool on players that outside of vehicles. So I would like to see that. And also the medic's defibrillators fully charged, and he blasts an enemy from behind with that. It should be a kill. I was hoping that stuff like that, different nuance, we would get.
I wish I could show you our ticket board, because those things are in there. It just comes down to a matter of time. But yeah, awesome.
Please. Okay, so I here's the thing. I know what I don't say I know, because that sounds like I'm a jerk, but I feel like I know the priorities are going to be, player improvement, visuals, but also new maps and content, right? Content is king. People are like, I want a new map, I want a new conquest thing. I get it, However, the adding new ones to each class is also the lifeblood of Battlefield games, because you can go in there and snipe a bunch of times. You can go there and shoot your gun and be a tank and be a little bird, and after a while you're like, okay, I've done all this stuff. Like I whatever, I can outgun that guy. Like last night, I mean, I've been streaming it, but last night I was like, you want to know what? Screw it. I'm just going to play with the Condor. And we were losing, but I was getting Condor kills left and right. And I know I could have just won if I just used my primary, but I didn't want to use my primary. So I think if there was different, like, nuances, like I said, the Recon shooting the grappling hook on a helicopter, hilarious. The engineer being able to take down players with his drill, also, and unlocking things because of that. The medic being able to fully charge their defibrillators and run at an enemy and shock them to death with it, makes them a crazy medic. They can revive their teammates and also take down an enemy like that one. And then, the assault class, whatever, screw them, they can give you unlimited ammo. But with the assault class, it'd be kind of funny if you could throw the ammo at an enemy and do like, I don't know, one damage. Yeah, one damage. Yeah. Or like Battlefield 3, they can throw the ammo crate at the wall like 100 times and eventually it breaks. They're like, one, ammo crate, like a small hitbox. Or, hear me out, you could take no, don't take this suggestion. This is an insane suggestion. But you could take the ammo box and hold it in front of you and block bullets. Don't take that suggestion, but I'm just saying that would be hilarious.
Yeah, do you want to be part of our crazy meeting list?
I would love to be part of your crazy meeting list, but but players will blame me personally if things go wrong. And like, hey, everything was fine until DLC was part of your crazy meeting.
There's a new designer.
All I'm saying is the lifeblood of Battlefield games is, of course, the sandbox of the levels and what happens, and they're dynamically changing. But it's also because every class feels different. Now, of course, every class right now feels different in Forefront because they have different equipment, which I love. However, the Assault class can only give himself C4 so many times before he can't for a game balance. And same thing with a grenade. But it would just be so much more interesting if, Recon had something else to do, or the engineer had something else, stuff like that. Is what I'm talking about.
It's little ideas like engineer or recon class gets like a drone to fly around, and maybe if you near an assault, he can put in some ammo.
Put some ammo, throw some C4 on there, and deliver it that way. Like, more team stuff for sure. I would love to see that. I would love to see that. Also, on the Big Bird, I would love to be able to shoot the pilot through the window. Is that bulletproof? Did you guys make it bulletproof for the pilot?
I think if you shoot with another helicopter towards...
No. So the Big Bird, the transport one, I'm pretty sure you can't shoot the pilot out of that. You can shoot everyone else, but not the pilot.
I think you can.
Really?
That's
Right. New challenge unlocked then. I get it. Some other things that stand out, and we're all over the place right now, but that's fine. Some of the things that were standing out, it's totally my fault. I'm the host. It's my fault. But some of the things that stand out for me, I'll post the roadmap. You guys can see the picture in the start. Some of this stuff, quality, we don't have to talk about things like quality of life improvements and animations. Some of those stuff are expected. Audio, expected. I think some of the things that stand out that I have a question mark above is this one. First one is killer highlighting. Now, do you mean once I kill someone, I'm going to glow red and they're going to be able to tell their teammate exactly where I am? Because I don't like that. That sounds scary to me.
Yeah, but you do need to know where you're getting killed from.
No, you're dead already, though. You need to know where you're getting shot from, not killed from.
True, yeah. It is in the works, so we'll see if people like it or not.
It's just, so, I get it from the everyone casual standpoint. You want to know, like, hey, man, there's a guy on that roof that keeps killing you over and over and over. But, I don't know. You already have, it says here right underneath that pinging system for squad. So isn't that enough to be like, dude, there's a guy right there. You can see the giant pinging arrow. Isn't that enough?
Yeah. So
okay.
These are the things that we can have discussions about. But I think a lot of the people here are like, yeah, I want to know who killed me,
I
and
I
yeah,
want I
what's
do
going
want
on.
to know who killed me. Like if I get shot by someone, I want to know that
Mhm.
like Mr. Goober 69420 headshots you from 150 meters away, but it doesn't have to zoom in and him glow red and tell me exactly where he's standing in the map because that's not fair to the other player that just skill checked me. To be like, yeah, I killed you, and now you know exactly where I am, and you can tell your squad because you can still communicate with your squad when you're dead.
Yeah, indeed, it's true. Maybe with the ping system, it's less useful, but
I'm
yeah,
interested to see. I would be interested to play
it's
with it engaged, to see
yeah,
if it
it's
helps people.
it's kind of subtle, and it won't be as visible if you get sniped from long distance, but it's a bit more like, okay, this guy killed you, and you can still see him running around you if he shot you from close by, and he's just a bit red in the death view
Okay,
with a little line of where you got shot from.
okay. I'll let you guys live. I'll let you live on that one. I could be wrong. So the other
Maybe
thing,
you love it.
well, it's
Fingers
exactly. I
crossed.
never do, but it's okay. That's a me thing. The other thing, I want to say, it doesn't scare me, but it does at the same time, is the PC VR upgrades. I see improved lighting, more foliage, LOD settings, detail, blah, 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 blah. Does that mean that the quest goobers I play against are going to have reduced all that stuff so they'll be able to see me better? So if I am I going to hide in a bush that's not there on their screen and they're just going to destroy me because I think I'm safe?
No, so a bush and trees will definitely be the same, because it wouldn't be fair indeed. We're more talking about,
Because it says more foliage for PC VR
yeah,
upgrades.
uh, I think we mean more grass and some particles,
Okay.
and just have the terrain materials look better, have the trees look better. Um, so we'll see what we can do there,
So just a visit.
but
You just want it
it's
to look
definitely
better,
gonna
but
stay
you don't.
fair.
Okay. Okay. That was just my concern between the two.
Mhm. No, it
Yeah.
shouldn't become a game where you have like your nice PC and you have to put everything on low just to
Yeah.
get the edge again. No, that's not
Okay.
something
Good.
that we want to do.
Good. Good. Is I mean overall, I think you guys, the foundation you guys have right now is great. It's an amazing foundation. I think the big thing, just judging from Breachers, because you guys update that still a game that they update. By the way, everyone. For this one, I think also the key is communication with your players, and I don't want to say frequent updates because you don't want to burn out people, but is the ability for people to be like, okay, I want a new whatever. So I know maps are always going to be hard, especially in a game like this. Creating new maps and new game modes is going to be very hard because of how the game plays. There's so many different angles. It's basically a sandbox with objectives to do. So it needs rigorous testing. But I think that's going to be very important to let players know that, hey, here's this new thing coming out. You'll be able to play this. Even possible, do a PTR, like a play test server, where maybe players can like test out a new map before it goes live. I know a lot of Dice does that with a lot of stuff too. I don't know if that's possible, but it would be kind of cool for players to help you guys test maybe maps if you guys want that. But new content, I think, is going to be a big thing to keep your player base engaged. Because just to go back to our initial conversation at the beginning, just a game like, let's say, Animal Company that updates weekly and is a free to play game, you're going to get a lot of people that are the ages between 8 and 13 are going to be looking at those free to play games that update every single week. And that's what you guys are competing against for sure. Even though you guys cost money, you're not going to update weekly. And that's why you have your progression system and things for players to do and play the game. But how often will this game update and receive content?
Yeah. So right now the plan is, every 2 weeks we do an update, and there's one smaller update and then one big one. And that's how we have planned out the next few months. I think we still have to do our first big update, which is going to be big, and definitely next month as well. So let's get through those, and then we'll see how that's being received, and if people, like that tempo. But yeah, it's looking really good. We have some really nice things on the list, and you can see it on our Discord or in the game. There's the whiteboard with all the things that we want to do. So one by one, we'll eventually put a line through those features when we are like, okay, this is good, until we are out of early access eventually.
Cool.
So yeah, we just like we did with Breachers, and we still do with Breachers. There's also an update coming next month for Breachers again. Yeah, we want to keep adding to our games and make them better and better, and that just goes hand in hand with the players. So yeah, if there's feedback, we gather everything on Discord or email. We prefer Discord, but yeah,
Yeah.
you can always email.
Yeah. Right. Well, in closing, I wanted the last two things was you have game and map balancing. I think some maps need some tweaking, but I think you guys have a handle on that. You have the feedback already. You've seen some of the, I want to say, abuse points, be it Rush on Siberia. I think also on Paradise. By the way, unpopular opinion, I love Paradise. It's my favorite map just because it's Wake Island, and I've played Wake Island my entire existence at this point. But I love that map. I know there's some players that are like, oh, it's either boring or they get dominated. Learn to play the game. That's all I'm saying. Learn to play the game. However, I will say one thing for them is Wake Island was initially designed as not a traditional conquest map. Right now, it plays like a traditional conquest map, but
Yeah.
in Forefront. However, it was originally designed in Battlefield as a conquest assault map where one side has, I think, like 40% of the bases already, and the other team had 0%, and the other ones were neutral where they spawned on a carrier and went. So the pain points here is that it's not balanced because one side can get to objectives way easier. Like the carrier, people can hop on a jet ski and get to A and instantly get a tank and dominate all the way through D until the other team can ride an ATV and get the tank at Delta. And even if they do get the tank at Delta, they have to get the tank all the way down through. They have to backtrack. So, and then let's say they lose, they can easily get spawn trapped in the people that spawn on the island. So the people that spawn on the carrier, they don't have to worry about getting spawn killed. But the people that spawn on the ground in that base in Wake Island, they can easily get spawn trapped and killed in their spawn. So that's that map is slight imbalance there. You could
Yeah.
add other restrictions of like out of bounds, but
So yeah, fun dev story. We actually made that mode first, where all the points were captured by the defending side. But what we found was that we couldn't break through, and the game was very unbalanced for when our team played it. Of course, now that we've let the game loose on a lot more players, we see different data, and we will have to adjust. And that's what I'm saying with we might re-release current maps and improve, or even add new game modes on you know make that variation of Paradise, or make a rush map into a conquest map with some slight edits.
that'd be cool.
So that's all fun stuff that we want to do, and we will indeed, I'm thinking of marking them as test map, or in testing phase, whatever.
Yeah,
Um,
that'd be really cool.
yeah, field tests. I think that was the name that we wanted to go with. So that would be maps that are still, being played, and we get our data until we can, put our final stamp of approval on them.
Okay.
So yeah, we will just develop the game with the people playing, and give you new stuff to play with, and tweak. And hopefully we get things right from the first time, but that's really difficult.
Yeah, well, and that's why you guys are always looking to improve. Great. My final question before we end this one: why is this Scar H so bad for the assault class? Why is it so bad? Why did you make that one
I
such
don't
a
know.
terrible weapon?
That sucks. Yeah, I mean, one of them has to be the worst one.
No, it
But
does. It does, but it is laughably bad. Laughably,
Yeah.
it misses constantly, even with all attachments on. The extended mag, you have to get like 5,000 kills or something. No, it's not that much, but you get a lot of kills with it. But no normal player outside of throwing the match is going to get that many kills to unlock the extended mag to even test to see if it's worth it. But still, the bullet deviation on that Scar loses to the initial gun, and then once you unlock like the I just call it the AK. Once you unlock the AK, there's no point of going back to the Scar ever. It's not like it's gonna be like, oh well, yeah, at least it's doing more damage. No, it's just gonna miss every shot. The Scar, you let me down, my friend. The Scar, you let me down.
But isn't it a pretty gun?
No,
it's a Belgian gun. We're from Belgium.
Yeah, but it misses. It misses. You should have made that gun the sleeper of the entire game then.
Yeah, okay. So yeah, just skip it. Unlock it, skip it.
If any, yeah, I don't. I think.
I heard you.
Jokes aside, though, I don't. I think that one underperforms. Just, I think it's. I don't know. I'm sure you guys have the data, but maybe when you guys released it, you didn't know it was going to underperform like that. Maybe people weren't using that gun that much, but yeah, it misses a lot versus your initial starter gun, and you will lose like most of your gunfights trying to use a Scar. And there's gonna be Scar defenders out there. I've ran into them, and I'm like, my brother in Christ, use a different gun, and you'll be like, oh yeah, no, the Scar's bad, but yeah, I just want you guys to know that the Scar, woof, it's a woof.
Got it. Okay. Well, I'll put that in front of the team.
Yeah, say DLC quote woof, WOOF.
Scar bad.
Scar bad. Well, we're from Belgium, so we can't do this. We got to. Okay, well that's it, man. Is there anything else you want to add? The one last thing. I'm sorry, I buried it to the end. I'm so bad at my job. Will there be a PlayStation VR 2 port of this game?
We really want to do it.
That's good.
We have to focus. Yeah, I cannot confirm it. It's something that we really want to do. We see all the comments that people really want it.
Huge player base for that, sense. Just so you know. PlayStation VR 2 people, they buy games and they play their games. It's not just like, oh, is there a free monkey game? No, they will. I'm telling you, they will buy Forefront. And they will play it.
I'll say it's very likely that it's going to happen, but we also want to do the graphical improvements first and see what we can do there, so that we make the most use out of the system and make a difference there. So, yeah.
All right. Just don't make it the year 2027, because they'll be really sad about that.
No, that's not going to happen.
Okay,
that's too long.
It's too long. It is definitely too long. Okay, well that's it. We've reached the end. Is there anything else you want to add? You want to be like, don't worry, Drifter, we're going to add a giant statue of you, 20 feet tall in the game, made of gold, anything like that? No? All right, that's fine.
Yeah, and instead of the oil rig on Paradise, it's just one giant statue.
Yes, that would be fantastic. You guys do have, so if you guys don't know, they did I call it a competition, but it was like etch your name during the beta, which I think you should do again. Now, I don't want to rob people of their progress with what they did, but the beta just didn't have the same balance that you have right now. So I would say leave it up to your team and your community to see if they would want to do it again with the current balance. Just that repair tool, infinite health on the chopper really threw things off. I'm willing to bet your top engineers is the same person that is your top pilot. So.
Yeah. No, the etch your name stuff was really fun, and we'll do more of that. But yeah, there's in the just want to avoid that. There's a statue of everybody in all the maps.
Everyone gets a statue.
Everybody gets No, but. Of course, there's more community stuff like that we want to do. More about that later. That sucks that I can't go into details right now. But,
that's totally that's totally fine. Leave people guessing. I say if you liked doing this, and your team likes this style of stuff, we can continue doing these interviews. I love doing them with the Blade and Sorcery team to help build hype. I think it's a great way of communicating with the team and also getting community feedback on things. Just be like, hey, this is what we're experiencing. So if you guys want, as updates roll out, we can continue to do these interviews if you want. But in closing, guys, thank you so much for watching. Go get Forefront. They are paying me $0 an hour to say that. I love this game. Like I said, it's available on Quest. It's available on PC. There's cross-play. There's no clan system yet, but you guys are going to add one, right? We're going to have a whole clan system, and it's going to be cool.
Yeah,
and we can have a whole community clan, the downloadable content clan versus the nerds clan. That's it. Boom. Get the game. Anything else you want to add before we say goodbye?
Yeah, I just want to say thanks to everybody who's playing the game, and you as well, Drifter. Yeah, thanks for the cool videos. We've been laughing, we've been sharing it through the office, and yeah, so really happy with what people think of the game, and I promise it will be an even better game next year.
Oh, I'm super excited. And by the way, when he says next year, everyone, we're recording this at the tail end of November, so next year is like a month and a half away.
Yeah.
That's cool. All right, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. Remember, subscribing is free. Leave a like, leave a comment, and my friend will sift through those comments he'll leave a comment himself. All right, that's it. Goodbye.